Good morning, everybody. Wherever you are joining us from, welcome to the College of Idaho in Caldwell, Idaho. For our first ever virtual Admitted Students Day. We hope that you enjoy the next hour or so that we are together and that you will learn about this exceptional college. My name is Joe Hughes. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at the college. And this is, what is the College of Idaho? Well, the College of Idaho is an inclusive community of exceptional learning that challenges the ambitious and then forges pathways to success and to purpose. And we're also all about relationships face to face that we build, being face to face with people in the same room, in the same community. And so this is not what we're used to. This is, we would much prefer having you here on campus. It's going to be a 70-degree day here in beautiful Caldwell, Idaho, and that would be ideal for us. But we can't have that with the coronavirus situation we are all in. So we thank you for taking the interest in the college and joining us virtually. We would much rather have you here face to face, but we're doing the best we can. But there is a positive side to this. Typically, for an admitted student day that we have on campus, we don't get international students being able to participate. This year, we do. We have 20 different countries who had pre-registered for our virtual admitted student day, which included Ethiopia, Germany, Honduras, Italy, and Nepal. So we have the entire globe represented on our virtual admitted student day, which is very similar to what we have on campus. We're the most diverse 55 acres in Idaho with 91 different countries represented here in Caldwell, Idaho. So it's great to have those viewers. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are on the globe. We want you here. There's plenty of places you can go and get a great education. What's special about this place is this community, the Yote fam relationship, the mentoring, the community that you get here. Yote is short for coyote. That's our athletic mascot. Fam, short for family. The students nicknamed it long ago, the Yote fam, and it is a special thing, and you're going to hear more about it as we meet today. One thing that we've tried to do to kind of keep this community feel going is instituted a Coyote a Day video, either from students or faculty or staff people, or we've even had some alumni submit them. We have one of those coming up at the end of the hour that we hope you'll stick around for, so you can see how we've been trying to maintain that community, although we're just scattered all over the globe as of now. You're going to learn about Peak, completely unique to the College of Idaho. That's 1 major and 3 minors in 4 years. That is how we have it structured here at the College of Idaho. It is a fantastic curriculum. We don't want to forget about you transfer students as well. You may not be here for the 4 years, but we want you here as well. Whether it's 1, 2, or 3 years, you'll wish you were here for 4, but we want you to come in here and finish out your 4-year education here with us in Caldwell. We do want you to deposit as well. Save your spot here at the college. We've extended the deposit deadline to June 1st, and you can do it on our website. So we hope that you will take advantage of doing that while you're learning more about the college and make that deposit so you can join us here, because we really hope to be seeing you in the fall. Now, we're about to show you a video, and we want to give you just a little technical tidbit beforehand, because as we were testing this out earlier in the week, if you're watching this on an Apple iPhone, the video may pop up and you need to hit play for the video to play. If you're on an Android device, no issues, it'll play automatically. Same with a desktop or a laptop or tablet. But if you're on an iPhone, I just want to let you know, make sure you hit that play button so you can see the video when it pops up. And who are you going to see in this video? Well, you're going to hear from some of our students talking about the unique aspects of the college, but you're also going to hear a welcome from our co-presidents. And you heard that right, co-presidents. We are the only school in the nation with co-presidents, and it's a remarkable example of just how you can work together for a common good. And we're blessed to have 2 presidents who are fantastic. So now, let's take a look at that video with both Jim and Doug.
Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Doug Brigham. I'm one of the co-presidents at the College of Idaho, and I want to welcome all of you to this virtual Admitted Student Day. This is the first virtual Admitted Student Day we've held in the 128-year history of the college, so you're all part of a very special occasion. With that said, we want to acknowledge the tough times that are out there and Our hearts and thoughts and prayers are with all of you and your families as you adjust to these times and all of the changes we've had to make to our lifestyles, but we will come out of this better than ever. Now, as it relates to the College of Idaho, my wife and I are both alums of the college, and I've got a few reasons today why we think this would be a great place for all of you. First, we have a very close-knit community here at the College of Idaho. We have a 9-to-1 student-faculty ratio here at the college, and that's very important. We were just talking to one of our upper-class students who went to a large out-of-state public institution her freshman year. She got a letter in the spring saying she was the outstanding chemistry student at that school, and she thought about that for a minute and realized, you know what, I've never even met my instructor. My chemistry class was taught by a teaching assistant, and we had hundreds of people in that class, and all I was a name on a piece of paper with a great grade. At that point, she realized she needed to transfer, and the College of Idaho was her home. She's a local Treasure Valley student here, came back, is doing great things. She's going to go to med school, doing a lot of student research projects. That's the type of small, close-knit family we have here. We also have academic excellence. We have the highest med school acceptance rate in the West. We also have a 100% acceptance rate to law schools over the past 5 years. We have wonderful faculty. Even in this time of online education, we have faculty that are doing things that epitomize our small, close-knit family and our academic excellence. One of our longtime botany professors is out in the Owahis with his handheld camera on his phone videoing plants so that his students can see what the plants are doing as they start to bloom and mature in the spring here. That's the type of experience you're going to get at the College of Idaho, and we would love to have you here in the fall.
Hi, I'm Jim Everett. I'm the other co-president here at the College of Idaho. I think Doug covered most of the important points. One thing I want to point out is our global mindset here at the College of Idaho. We have 91 different countries represented on this campus. You're getting an exposure to perspectives from all over the world that add to your classroom and out of classroom experience that we think is something unique here at the college. One last thing I'd say is this is a warning, don't come here if you want to hide. You're going to be known by your professors. You may get a call if you miss a class. We care about you. We want you to succeed. You're going to get lots of support. The College of Idaho is a very, very rigorous school. It's a hard place to get straight A's. It's also a hard place to fail. We can hardly wait to see you this fall. Please stay healthy, and we are grateful that you joined us today and can hardly wait to see you come August.
You get a fully encompassing education here. I think you have to come here to experience it and see for yourself, because I wasn't completely sold before I came here. You know, I heard it was prestigious and quote unquote the best education you can get in Idaho. And then I showed up and I went on my tours, and I knew from the second I got on campus that just the people I was working with, the people I was around that were in my group, it's a different environment here, and it's so positive and everybody's working toward their goals, and you just can't beat it.
When I was looking into the College of Idaho, I was like, okay, cool, they keep on saying community, but what does that really mean? Coming here, I realized that means support. That means if you ever have any sort of issue, there's at least 7 people who could help you, if not tens of people who could tell you where to go get help. So that was something that just blew me away thinking about it now, that I really appreciate about the college.
And the whole liberal arts education as a whole, in that it really, you become a well-rounded individual. You're not just focusing specifically on your major. And I think that's good, because I feel like in the real world, you don't just have to focus on your one thing. You want to be smart in all areas or all aspects.
I love the College of Idaho because I feel like I am involved with so many different countries at the exact same time, but yet I have to remind myself, we're still in Caldwell, Idaho. If I hadn't gone to the College of Idaho, I would have never had the opportunity to meet such a diverse group of people. Not only diversity from countries, but diversity in beliefs and ways of living life, really.
I found that the college is actually really affordable, I talked to my financial aid advisor and I told them, I was like, I really want to come here, but there are a few boundaries that I have and I just need more help. And they found me more money. So I feel like even though the cost may seem out of reach, once you start making a relationship with people on campus, and that's so easy to do, they'll do anything that they can to help you.
All right, welcome back to the campus of the College of Idaho. We're actually coming to you from the plaza level of the Cruz and Murray Library, a library that still feels brand new to me, although it was opened on January of 2018. It's a beautiful facility, 3 levels, and we hope that if you haven't been to campus, you'll get a chance to take a look at that. I did want to mention, if there's any technical, or you feel like there's been any technical difficulties that are going on, we are recording this entire presentation, and we will be posting it on our YouTube channel, and it can be sent to you later, so you can either watch it again if you feel like you've missed something, or you can watch it another time or send it on to somebody else. So please know that we are recording it and you can watch it at a later date. Now, we have gathered together an all-star panel here for you to answer many of the questions that have been sent in and some that you may want to send in via the chat. And we would like to introduce them to you one by one, and each one of them say a few things about themselves, about what they do at the college. First up on your left, we have David Douglas, who is our Vice President of Academic Affairs and Dean of the Faculty. Dr. Douglas.
Thank you very much, Joe. Before I start, I'm so excited about the fact that we have students and prospective students and family members watching us from all around the globe. And I myself I grew up in the smallest of islands in the Pacific, and I just think it's such a remarkable thing that the College of Idaho brings together such a divergency of people who otherwise might never encounter each other. And I just, as a starting place, with your permission, I wanted to, indulge me please, I wanted to take a selfie. So I'd like a picture of all of you. So if you don't mind, just bear with me for a sec. I'm gonna flip around here so I can get all of us in. Big smiles from everybody, please. There we go. Oh gosh, that's perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So as Joe said, I am Vice President for Academic Affairs and also Dean of the Faculty. I'm not really sure that clarifies much for many viewers because I don't think many people actually know what a dean does, probably including a few of them who work for me, just to acknowledge that. You know who you are. In terms of what deans do, I was helping a friend of mine apply for a dean's job recently at a college in the Midwest, and she sent me a copy of the advertisement, and I kid you not, it had 29 subordinate jobs listed under the heading of being the dean of the college. And the last of those was, and I'm quoting now, other duties as assigned. And frankly, probably could have started with that one and only had that one because I think, in fact, being a dean means doing what needs doing. But I did give it some reflection for this moment, anticipating that I wanted to give you just a quick sense of why I would be part of this panel and what it is that I do at the college. And I think the short version of it is that college is a world. It's a kind of universe you inhabit. It's a life that you lead for 2 years, for 3 years, for 4 years, however long you happen to be with us. Academics is one part of that world. It's not the only part, but it's one part. And my job, in short, is to oversee that part. I oversee the academic world. I hire and work with faculty to ensure that they're continuing to develop and grow and aspire. And frankly, speaking of aspirations, the center of my job is to ensure that we continue to aspire to be the best college in the country. And again, given the nature of the students that we bring, I would even say we aspire to be the best college in the world. So again, David Douglas, Dean of the Faculty, looking forward to having a chance to hearing your questions and responding to you.
All right, thank you very much, David. Appreciate the selfie.
The selfie, thank you.
You've never even taken a selfie with me before.
Thank
so,
you. Well, you know, I get to see you every day.
I should have swung over there as well. We have a fantastic student representative here for you on the panel as well. Meg Osterhout is a senior elementary education major, and your minors were in what, Spanish and human performance? Yeah, that's I'm exhausted just even thinking about everything you've been studying.
Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. You'll learn more about me on the tour. You'll watch that with a link later on, so I won't bore you too much with the details right now. But some of the things I'm involved in, I'm the senior lead ambassador here at the college. I'm part of a sorority. I served as president for Kappa Alpha Theta last year. I'm on the housing committee with Jen, who you'll meet next, part of Student Senate, Campus's Honor Society, Omicron Delta Kappa, Student Philanthropy Council, and a partridge in a pear tree. I think I got them all. We're all very involved as Yotes, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some clubs. So if any of my fellow club members are watching this and I forgot, I'm so sorry. But I'm excited to answer your questions and hopefully see you guys on campus sometime when this is all over.
Yes. Thank you, Meg. Yeah, there are plenty of opportunities to be involved in as many things as you want to, and it's very difficult to not be involved in many things as well. Our third member of our panel is Jen Nelson. She is our Director of Residence Life and Associate Dean of Students. Jen.
Hi, welcome, future Yotes. I'm so glad you can join us today. One of the most, I think, amazing and kind of humbling experiences I've had in my career has actually been over the last month. When we've realized how we can work with innovation to really build a community and continue to have a thriving campus community. And so I'm going to share a little bit about that with you. And I'm, again, just so happy to be here with you today. So I am the Director of Residence Life. We have 3 professional staff members who work for Residence Life, myself, and then the other 2 live on campus full-time, one with his family. And they live here to make sure that our students are safe and connected and are just having a good, thriving community experience here. We typically have about 700 students that live on campus, and that's about 65% of our student population. And they live in every kind of environment, from a traditional dormitory to an apartment-style housing. So right now, as a result of kind of what we're all doing right now, we have about 180 students on campus. So it has been a little bit of a challenge for us to figure out how to, again, create that thriving, connected community and provide the support that our student family needs on campus. While also, of course, respecting physical distancing, as we're all doing here this morning. And really having the kind of care for each other and care for community that we need so that we can keep each other safe. So some of the things we're doing on campus right now with our students, we have RAs, again, we have our hall directors on campus. We have students learning to knit. We have craft projects going on. We have sidewalk chalk going on. We have in-room workouts and in-room yoga. There's actually tutoring, academic tutoring going on virtually, and academic advising going on virtually. So we have all these wonderful support services that are taking place. And I guess I'm just really happy to share that because, again, it's a sign of that our community is resilient and how important this connected and thriving community really is for the college.
Fantastic, Jen. Thank you much for that. I can't wait for you students to get on this campus and meet these people as well. You'll be better for it. They are all about making your experience the best that it possibly can be. Meg is a shining example of that, so I'm really excited for you to learn more about them as we go on. Feel free, I see that many of you have discovered the chat function that's going on. Feel free to send us some questions. We have quite a few that were sent to us earlier on, and we'll be getting to those. Some of your questions on the chat may be directly answered by our Director of Admission, Mike Burdine, is on the chat, and others may be coming from the panel as well. So I'm going to walk off camera and actually get to our first question here. And we're going to tee this one up first for you, David, and then also Meg, if you want to chime in as well. But the first question comes from Lucas. Can I get a detailed rundown on the PEAK program?
Oh, what a great question. Thank you, Lucas. And the reason that I think it's a great question is because even though academics is one among the important parts of the college experience, the PEAK program really is distinctive. It's unique in the nation. And it's a bit of a metaphor in the sense that Idaho is blessed with so many beautiful mountain ranges, the Sawtooths, the Oahes, and actually we have a program in our winter session that enables students to go up to Stanley, Idaho, and every day they engage both in backcountry skiing for credit and also talk about Shakespeare. And so that's the sort of opportunity we have as a consequence of the beautiful environment here in Idaho. But the PEAK curriculum not only is a metaphor for the place in which we are located, it also refers to the structure of the curriculum as well. The short version of it is that we have 4 different areas or domains. So many colleges have a checkbox list of required classes that students have to take to get their breadth or to get their depth. And essentially it's going through and making sure you've gotten all those classes taken underway, completed, before you can move on to maybe the things that you'd really like to do. In ours, we have no checklists. Effectively, we have 4 areas of the curriculum that are constituted by the natural sciences, the social sciences, and humanities and the fine arts. That's 3. There are 4 peaks. The 4th peak is professional studies and enhancements, and that's really the repository of skills and knowledge for college and career. So we really want to set every one of our students up not only to have vast interior space. You know, none of us knows when we're 30 or 40 or 50 or beyond when you may need that snippet of poetry or that bit of cinema or art, or on the other end of the spectrum when you may need scientific literacy. That is, no matter what vocation you select as a professional, we want to produce people who are capable of living full, rich lives, not just careers, but including careers. So those 4 areas are the entirety of our curriculum. Students have to do a major and minors to fulfill each one of those. And the little jingle that we have is that all students typically do a major and 3 minors in 4 years. And that's a way of saying you'll have depth, an area of focus, primary focus, in which you can explore broadly. But you'll also have breadth. You'll have the minors in the other 3 areas. So whichever one you choose for your major, you do a minor in the other 3, and you emerge with your degree as a fully functioning, well-rounded person. I hope that's enough detail for you, and if it's not, let us know in the chat and we'll provide more.
Meg, how about the student perspective of working through peak?
Oh, absolutely. So PEAK stands for Professional, Ethical, Articulate, and Knowledgeable. So kind of a mouthful, so that's why we do call it PEAK in our acronym. But living the dream as a student, at first I was like, what are they asking me to do in 4 years? There's no way. But there's so many great academic advisors on campus to sit down with you and help you map everything out so you can graduate on time or when you desire to do so. You know, we have 85% acceptance rate to medical school and 100% acceptance rate to law school for C of I graduates that applied to those institutions because of our PEAK program. You know, admissions of other schools for grad schools or even employers, they see, wow, this student got 1 major and 3 minors in 4 years. They really challenge themselves. And not only that, it's in all different areas. So although my area of study is pretty niche in that I'm going to become an elementary school teacher, if I changed my mind in 2 years and decided to go to medical school, I absolutely could with the preparation I've gotten here.
Thank you, Meg. That's fantastic. We're going to stick with Meg on this next question and maybe get a follow-up answer from Jen as well. This question comes from Vanessa. What is the hardest thing to get used to when transitioning into college?
Oh my gosh, that is such a good question and something I wish I would have asked in your position. So personally, the hardest thing for me was managing my own time. You know, in high school, you're going to school 7-8 hours a day. Then if you have a job, you go to your job, you come home, do homework, eat dinner, go to bed, right? It's pretty routine. But in college, I'm like, okay, I have a 2-hour break in between my classes and really giving myself that discipline to use that time productively when my mom's not there to be telling me how to best use my time. So not to say that mom always knows best, but she probably does. But definitely getting a planner. And honestly, for the first year or so of college, I would open my planner on Sunday nights, and for the whole week, I would map out, okay, this is when I have my classes. These are great study times, so I'd hold myself accountable. I would find a friend, hey, let's study in the library at this time. And even mapping out to when I should take a shower for the day, when I should go to bed, when I should go to sleep, or when I should wake up, really putting myself on that routine and being productive with my own time was definitely a big transition for me, but something that made me a better person, and a lot of great resources on campus that helped me through that. And do you have anything to add, Jen? Because you see this a lot too.
I do. I know I jotted down a few ideas here, and you hit my number one idea that I had, the scheduling, which is a little bit, I think, what probably many of you are also struggling with right now, that you've had to kind of create your own schedule right now. We have one of the best resources we have on campus is called the Freshman Year Experience or First Year Experience, where all of our first year students actually take cohorted classes together and live together, and then we can try to provide you additional resources to help you with that scheduling, as Meg pointed out, help you create some boundaries in your life and help you as you're organizing yourself. But that freshman year experience also has programs that will help you with some key life skills, like how to plan a schedule again, but also maybe like how to do laundry, for yourself, or how to deal with some conflict or work through conflict management. So we try to provide you as many resources as possible to really help you through that transition, because we know for most students this is the first time that you're really on your own, and a lot of these decisions are up to you, and we want you to make the best decisions you can to be successful and really thrive here on campus.
Thank you, Jen. Our next question, we'll stick with you on this one, Jen, comes from Lucas, and then Dylan also asked this on the chat as well. When will we be told about our housing arrangements?
So again, all freshmen are housed together, and we will send those out starting the first week of June. So over the next month or month and a half, we'll be working on matching students with roommates, and also putting them in housing assignments, and then get those sent out the 1st of June. This is a good time, though. I want to let you know, again, as we all are experiencing because of COVID-19, what's going on right now, the college is carefully watching what the guidance of our federal and state officials are saying, and we will be using that guidance as we're making decisions about housing. So we will let you know if anything's changing. At this point, we are planning to send out housing again the first week of June, and we are excited to have people on campus and invite all students back in the fall.
Thank you, Jen. This let's have you answer this one as well. This may be, you touched on this. Samantha also asked, when do we find out who our roommates are?
Oh, in the same email, I should have said that. So in the same email that goes out the 1st of June, you will be informed about your roommate's name, where they're from, and their email, so that you can contact them. And then we also send out resources in that email about what that first conversation with your new roommate could look like, and resources that will help you throughout the summer as you prepare to move onto campus. So again, we're hopefully setting you up to be as successful as possible.
Thank you, Jen. This next question, we're going to have David start off with the answer, and then Meg, maybe you could follow up as well. It's a great question. Actually comes from Megan, and it's one of those things where I don't think people understand just how many opportunities are here at an undergraduate college, but are there research opportunities available for me to take part in?
Absolutely. And I would start by just acknowledging research for us is really seen as the gold standard, the apex of the process of inquiry. And I don't mean necessarily publishing in a peer-reviewed journal, although that would certainly be part of it. But we think of it as a scholar, as a person in the world who wants to find interesting questions to wicked problems, difficult problems. We really want to establish a kind of habit of mind that is the habit that will last a lifetime, whether or not you end up in scholarship or as an academic. And that looks like trying to find all the information you can, seeking it in a rigorous and authentic way, pulling it together and analyzing it in the fashion appropriate to the question that you're seeking to answer, and then finally sharing that answer with other people around you and helping them through what you've learned, and also testing the knowledge that you've gained and the answer that you've derived based on what they find. And so that really fundamentally is the way that research works. No matter whether you're in the sciences or the humanities or anything in between, we really encourage that process of inquiry, discovery, and dissemination, helping people understand what you have learned. So that said, here on campus, we encourage that from the very beginning. We have writing groups. We encourage students to work closely with faculty mentors. In so many cases, we have faculty members who collaborate directly in research groups with students to conduct their research, to publish their research, again, across the disciplines. I would just give a shout out to a couple of really noteworthy cases, particularly in the sciences. We have Murdoch Trust funding and also INBRE funding, National Institute of Health and funding, that provide support for students to live on campus and to work closely with faculty members by providing them with resources. It pays them essentially not to have to get a job back home or here in Caldwell, and instead it pays them to do the research. So those are good examples. Maybe the other thing, the last thing I would say this moment is we also have Students Research Day. We have SRD here on campus where students have an opportunity to present the research that they've done over the course of the academic year to communities inside and outside the college. And of course, we also provide resources for our students to present at regional and national conferences as well. So research is really important for what we do, and I would just acknowledge that when I say research, I don't only mean the conventional type of research. I think when many of us, we think of scientific research, that may be a great prototype case, but we also include the writing of novels or the production of artistry or displays of one type or another, or performances of one type or another, or musical performances, theatrical and so forth. So it really does cut all the way across the full range of the disciplines. What we consider to be, the production of answers to the world is not limited to, the sciences only. So, Meg, do you have something to add?
Yeah, I'm lucky enough to be living the dream right now. I'm actually doing research with Dr. Sally Brown on campus and a couple of my peers. We've been focusing on literacy help and reading interventions for upper elementary struggling readers, and so I was able to conduct that in the fall and just applied actually to be a part of the student research conference. So keep your fingers crossed for me that I get accepted into that. But the really unique thing about this school is it's not just ourselves or our professors that's interested in our research, but people are always asking me about my research, even if they don't have the first clue about how education ever does research. And with the student research conference, everybody's interested in learning about one another's research and the different disciplines, and how it's not just a STEM thing, and how it's very much exercised in the arts as well, and even in business classes. It's just it's so unique. And with that 9-to-1 student to professor ratio, we're able to have those opportunities to work really closely and immerse ourselves into the community.
Thanks, Meg. We'll stick with you, Meg, on this next question. Maybe David for some follow-up as well. This one comes from Jefferson. I'd like to know, how does the class selection process work?
No, yeah, that's a great question. So luckily for your first semester, I will have David chime in on this one as well. The first semester is pretty much laid out for you, because for those seminar classes and the intro classes as a cohort, as Jen was talking about, you're with the same freshmen for the most part. But from there on out, before you register for classes and you think, okay, this is what I want to do for my major and my minors, you can meet with an advisor and they can help you figure out what classes you need to take when. And you'll meet with your advisor before registering to make sure you're still on track. But yeah, it's really helpful, and there's usually multiple sessions for one class, so if you're already taking one class in one session, you can choose the other session for that, so on and so forth. But I'll let David take over from here, because you do a lot with the advising and stuff.
And I'll give you a conflicted answer, which I think is important to keep in mind, because for so many of us, the subjects that we know about, that is the areas, the classes that we might be interested in taking in college, focusing on, really are based on what we happen to have experienced in high school. But there are so many other intellectual disciplines we may never have bumped into, anthropology or sociology or religious studies. There are topics or class types that we are just unfamiliar with. And so it can be a bit dizzying, and I think it can make you feel a little squelched, a little stressful, because you want to explore. At the same time, you understand you need to make forward progress in meeting requirements. So going for you here at the College of Idaho, we have the flexibility that I described earlier. In the peak system, you're not obliged to quickly declare a major. You have plenty of time to do some exploration and encounter these classes and fields you may never have heard about before or ever taken a class in. So that's a starting place. The reason I said I'll give you a conflicted answer is because I think it matters less than you imagine. The reality is all of those topics are waiting for you, but all the research on college education across the country and around the world has come to I think a counterintuitive conclusion over the last several years, which is most students forget most of the facts that they learn in college about 2 years after graduation. And that's true for all students. The very good students learn more facts, they retain more facts over the first little while, but about 2 years out, the forgetfulness curves intersect. So even students who we would just call them maybe the average student know about as much as the best students about 2 years out. We all tend to forget over that course of time, which for me begs the question, why go to college, right? And the answer is the things that you do retain, the meta-learning, the learning how to learn, right? The confidence, the tempering that occurs, those things last a lifetime. And there's another area of I think, enormous value that follows you out of college. In some cases, it's been estimated to be of greater value, and that is the mentorship, the lifelong relationships that you make with the people with whom you work. You come into college, you live with them, you work with them, you play with them, you learn with them, and those relationships will sustain you for a lifetime. Dan Chambliss a few years ago published what I think is the most authoritative study of higher ed and what you need to succeed as a student. It's called How College Works. And he and one of his former students actually produced a 10-year multi-methodological study of college. And what they concluded was you need, in short, a mentor and 2 friends. That is that you'll do okay if you have that support. And it's not just warmth and at a girl, at a boy. It's also accountability. Somebody to tell you when you can work harder, to encourage you when you need encouragement, and to give you motivation when you need motivation. So I guess that's my long-winded way, characteristic, by the way, of saying that when it comes to picking classes, you dive into the deep end of the pool. You'll learn as you go. You'll find the great professors who teach in ways that fit your manner of learning. And equally important, you'll find mentorship. You'll find friends who will give you great advice about the classes that really made a difference for them. And you'll have all the time in the world to figure out the areas of your depth and breadth as you go.
Thank you, David. We'll stay with you for this next question that came in on the chat, and I think it's something that everyone's thinking about, although it's a very rapidly changing environment we're living in. But Micah on the chat has asked, how will the pandemic affect incoming freshmen?
Oh, hi, Micah. I hope you know. Perhaps you could call and tell us. We like every college in the country and the world, frankly, right now. We're all watching. Jen mentioned what we're all doing, which is following the advice of the experts. We're attending to the developments very closely. We're watching for peak periods with COVID and then the falling away as fewer people become infected. We're also watching very closely the news having to do with the development of medications, including the possibility of vaccines. So I think we're all in the same boat in that regard. Of course, like any other college, we also have expertise in such areas, biomedical and so forth, represented internal to the college. So I think this is one of those cases where we're all in this together, the educational community and the rest of the world, watching this pandemic work its way through the human population and planning. It seems like every day, at least twice a day, our senior cabinet, either in its entirety or in some subordinate division of it, is meeting and talking about strategic and tactical planning. That is, what are the latest facts that are being shared, and then what do we do about it? So we are anticipating as best as can be every possible contingency, the possibilities of continued blended learning, of continued online learning, distance learning. Our faculty have very quickly gone to online to accommodate our students this semester, as Jen was saying, like pretty much every college that I know. And so we're anticipating every contingency as best as can be done. So it's hard for us, frankly, right now to say what it means for the freshmen because those decisions have not yet been rendered. But we have identified, just co-led a session yesterday with my colleague, Vice President Paul Benyon, for our senior cabinet, in which we identified 4 different possible scenarios, each one of them different, having to do with the possibility of the pandemic continuing, abating, going under and then coming back up again with a new wave, as has happened historically with, for example, the Spanish flu. And so we're really doing our best to you might think of these as thought experiments or to game out, tabletop these different scenarios and anticipate as best as can be done what we would do as a college in every single sector, academic and otherwise, how we would react best for our students given these different scenarios. So I guess that's a way of saying we don't know yet, but we're doing our best to plan the unplannable and to anticipate the unknowable, we will respond very quickly as the developments continue to occur over the course of the next month or so.
Great, thank you, David. Another follow-up question for you, David, from Vanessa. When will we be receiving our schedules?
Hi, Vanessa. Thank you for the question. Along with room assignments, building assignments, and roommate assignments, I think that the academic schedule assignments are right in there. Anyone who's coming to college, ours or anyone else's, wants to know as soon as possible, what will my classes be? Who will my faculty members be? And we will typically disclose that information on July 15th. So that's when you can look forward to getting your class schedule.
Great, thank you, David. Let's shift over to Jen for this next question from Lucas, and then also maybe Meg can follow up as well. Jen, from Lucas, what on-campus jobs are there for students?
Oh, great question, Lucas. Frankly, almost every department has jobs for students on campus. There are so many jobs. But let me tell you just a few, I think, of the most popular ones. The library here, the building that we're in here, we have students that work here in the library to help answer questions, help with research, and of course, help check materials out. Our food service also has students working for them, both in our cafe and in our dining hall. So you can be a coffee shop barista if you'd like to do something like that. Other departments, campus safety hires students, which can be a great position. And then we also have students who work in leadership positions, and they're paid for those leadership positions. So some are elected and some are hired. An example would be the students that work for my office, the RAs or resident assistants on each floor. They're paid for their job. We also have students that are elected, program council and executive council. I should actually maybe let Meg talk a little bit more about those. But those are elected student leaders who plan programs and run student government, and they also can be paid. Meg, do you want to pick up that a little bit?
Yeah, Jen, you hit the nail right on the head. Like she said, any department you could imagine has jobs available for students, and my position as a senior lead ambassador, I'm actually fortunate enough to get paid for that. And yeah, president, vice president of inclusive excellence, treasurer, secretary, they all get paid. And whether you qualify for work study or don't, there's opportunities for both. And the beauty of working on campus is that your boss or supervisor, so to say, is super understanding. You know, if I was working off campus and I had a really hard test the next day that I needed to study for, that's probably not going to fly with that boss. But on campus, my boss says, Meg, I know you have that test coming up tomorrow. How about I let you go 30 minutes early, or you just don't come at all? We got it covered. So there's real beauty in that, as well as tickets at basketball games. You can get hired to hand those out, so you can just be watching the game and do extracurricular stuff like we all do, but get paid for it, or working concessions. There's so many opportunities, and we're just always busy. I definitely recommend working on campus.
Hey, just a quick follow-on to that. I've already mentioned the word mentor several times. A work-study supervisor is yet one more opportunity to work closely with a mentor. And the reason I carry on so much about that concept, and of course you'll remember from your own studies, mentor was originally a proper noun. It was the name of the person that Odysseus decided to leave his son with, Telemachus, while he was away fighting at Troy. And that turned out to be 20 years of babysitting. And you'll recall from the Odyssey, of course, that when he finally returned home, almost nobody recognized him being Odysseus, and his son was a grown man. The point to that is your mentor is the person who should oversee your growth here at the college. We really take that obligation to you very seriously. We want you to find a mentor. It may be your academic advisor. It may be a professor in your major or minor. It may be an elected, a professor in an elective class, or it may be your work study professor or one of the terrific staff members who work outside of academics. We want cascading opportunities for every student to have a mentor, and that's the person who's your special advisor, supervisor, person you go to for advice about the world, about difficulties of any type whatsoever. And we want that to be a relationship that lasts for as long as it possibly can. I still hang on to my mentor from college, believe it or not, Hal Boken. He chides me about not writing or communicating often enough, and I would just like to say, Hal, if you're watching, I'll give you a call tomorrow. And that's the kind of relationship that I hope that each of you achieves and sustains with an academic mentor, no matter where it is you go to college. That it may be the single most important thing that you take away from college, irrespective of where you go. We do our very best to ensure that every student finds such a relationship.
We're so lucky.
Next question for Meg. From Sasha, how many students participate in clubs?
Oh my gosh, that's a great question. I am going to go for it and say just about any student on campus is involved in at least one club. At the beginning of every year, there's a club fair. So there's tables set up and you can go around. And my unsolicited advice to you is write your name on any one of the clubs that even as much just catches your eye. Because eventually you'll learn the ones that are important to you. You make great friends. And I'm still involved in a lot of clubs as a senior. But yeah, that's definitely what we thrive on the campus, is being involved in immersing ourselves in the community through these clubs and establishing these connections and relationships through these clubs. And this might be as much as a studying club. Clubs for anything and everything you could imagine, because all you need to start a club is 3 people. So pretty much anything you could imagine, there is a club for it. And if there's not, you can start it.
Start your own.
Meg, here's another question for you, and David might have something to add here as well. From Jillian on the chat, how does study abroad work?
Ooh, yeah. So we have a really great study abroad program here through multiple different vendors, I guess, for lack of a better term. Jennifer Riddle is in charge of all of that. And what's really great about how our academic year is set up is we have the traditional 12-week fall and spring semester, but in between we have a 3.5-week J term or January term, winter term, whatever you want to call it. So if you don't want to commit to studying abroad for a whole semester, you could go just for that month, so you don't have to be away too long. But yeah, there's so many great opportunities, something I wish I could have done during my undergrad career. But yeah, I'll let David touch on this one as well.
Right, and so really these serve every purpose. For folks who haven't traveled much, it's an opportunity for them to experience total cultural immersion, linguistic immersion, all the great things that you would expect of studying abroad. For those who have traveled a long ways, perhaps even to the college, or having a kind of international experience in coming to Idaho, these also have academic merit relative to a discipline or a domain. For example, I mentioned the backcountry skiing program that we have that also involves reading of Shakespeare. We have a program on colonialism, for example, that takes students in the same trip first to London and then to South Africa. The idea being to see the site of colonial impulse as well as one of the manifestations of colonial impulse. We also have programs to the Keys, to Belize. We have programs that take students to Mexico, to Ecuador, to all corners of the globe. And the point to it is these are not just excursions; they're not tourist trips. Although they are enjoyable, there's no doubt about that. You cannot not have a great time in these locations because of the richness and variety and diversity of experience. And I would also acknowledge food, since food is close to the center of my life. But it's also the case that there is academic merit, a focus there. So you're traveling with a professor, and in many or most cases, multiple professors who are teaching you along the way. They're taking you to the very sites of important business that gets done, culture or heritage. We have a course that goes to New York City that comes out of our business department that incorporates visits to Wall Street, of course, and the business sector there in New York. And so the point is there is both that study away, vitality, experience, freshness, exposure, but there's also an academic core to every one of these programs. And I would just second what Meg said. If you don't do it, you don't have to. It may not be in the cards for everybody, either because of choice, they just don't want to go abroad, or because it doesn't fit in their academic program. But I'm an enormous fan. I think that it can be a transformative experience. And I would assure Meg, it's not too late, even after graduation. We'll talk about, perhaps we'll bring you back to help mentor one of our groups going abroad. So.
Let's jump to a question for Jen. It's an important question. It comes from Madison, and it says, with everything that's been happening, will local students still be required to live on campus?
Thanks, Madison. That is an important question, and I think as I mentioned earlier, and then as David also mentioned, we are watching what's happening. We have groups working on making sure that our students are safe. That's really our primary concern, of course, is that our students are safe. And I don't know if you remember when Joe opened, he talked about that face-to-face experiences and this close-knit Yote fam, right? Our family environment is actually a big part of who we are. And so this has been a challenge for us, but it's been a good challenge. And it's one that I think that we've come out of really in a position of strength. But we are just watching closely what's happening and what recommendations are for next fall. At this point, absolutely. We're planning on starting again in the fall and having all of our students back on campus and having full residence halls. But we also, we're planning to be cautious. We already have our custodians doing extra work on campus. Some of the students that are here right now asked if they could have some additional cleaning supplies, and so we absolutely provided those. And anyway, we're doing what we can to help our students right now and to make sure everybody's safe. And so I don't have a definite answer for that, but at this point we're planning. We're planning to have everyone on campus next fall and opening up again in a really thriving community.
Thanks, Jen. That's indeed the hope. Let's switch over to David for this question. It comes from Elizabeth on the chat. What is the Professional Foundations and Enhancement minor, and why did you start it?
Oh, thank you, Elizabeth. That's a great question. You can tell my enthusiasm for the PEAK curriculum. So the PSE, the Professional Studies and Enhancements portion of our curriculum, I mentioned that we think of it as having it to do with the skills and the knowledge for college and career. So it's self-consciously, what are those fundamental skills that you need across all the other peaks, across all the other classes that you'll be taking? Fundamentals of writing, of critical thinking, of problem solving, of analysis. And also, when we say for beyond college, for your career, we want you to do some discernment, some reflective practice, some experience in the world. Take an internship, for example, get a job outside the college. We're constantly looking for ways that we can help our students bridge the experience that they're having in college and apply that knowledge in the world. Engage in a service learning class, for example. So specifically, from the very beginning, we want to incite you to think about where are you going with this? And we think of vocation not just narrowly as a job, we think of it as a calling. And normally I think we restrict our consideration of calling to certain kinds of professions, perhaps religious ones, being a teacher. But in fact, if you need to find a career that pays your bills, that also enlivens you, enlarges you. I can't imagine anything worse than finding yourself post-graduation settled into a fine job that perhaps pays plenty of money for you to take care of your material needs, but doesn't feed you, because most of our lives are longer than we imagine when we're 17, 18, 22, 25. And at 35 or 45 or 55, you want to still be in a career that's rewarding. And all the research these days says that many people will change their careers, not just once, but multiple times. And so we want you to have a dynamic skill set that is portable, that is applicable to many different career paths. So what we do in the professional studies and enhancements major or minor, it's technically a minor. In that area of our curriculum, we really do our best to prepare you to have that applicable, portable skill set to be able to be good at many different careers, and also the reflective habit of mind of thinking about your own career path, writing your own autobiography, as you will, kind of written into the steps that you take and the decisions that you make. So that I'm pitching that in a fairly abstract way, and I'm happy to provide more concrete details about what actually happens inside the classes that constitute the professional peak. But I think it's probably a good idea to start with what we're trying to accomplish, is set you up for success in college, and then very explicitly what happens after college.
Thank you, David. We got time for one more question. I'm actually going to combine two questions to you, Meg, because they both come from Sasha and they are somewhat related as well. How important is it to have a vehicle on campus? And then the second question, what are fun, popular activities to do off campus?
Ooh, a twofer. Okay, so I'll start with the first question with the car. So I get a lot of questions about this, whether it be on tours or just talking with a prospective student and their family. I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential. Me being from Boise, I have my car here, but if I'm being honest, I don't leave campus much just because I don't feel like I have to. And sticking with the car question for now, I'm always sending out texts, and people are always sending out texts. You know, I'm headed to Boise today. Just for fun, if anybody wants to join. I'm going to vote today on voting days. Who wants to join me? There's always carpooling going on. But as for kind of segueing into the next question, what is there to do on and off campus? You don't really need a car because Albertsons is right across the way if you need to go to a store. We have great food services on campus, so you don't really need to leave campus for food. But if you feel like you need to get off campus for whatever reason, there's Indian Creek Plaza just about 3 to 5 minutes away in downtown Caldwell. In the winter, they have an ice skating rink. In the summer, they have farmers markets and concerts, and there's a movie theater with recliner chairs. It's only $1 more to upgrade to, so definitely worth it. There's a coffee shop, a rediscovered bookstore, an ice cream shop. All of these, they're also very pro-Yote, so if you say, oh, I'm a Yote, and show them your ID card, they'll give you a little discount. But yeah, I never feel like I have to go off campus, and I know I can speak for a lot of my fellow students on that, because program council is always putting events on campus. There's always sporting events, there's always bonfires, anything and everything you could ever imagine. We're always busy on campus, but there are options in the mountains or 30 minutes away if you want to go hike, fish, camp, whatever. We have outdoor program, which I'll talk about more in the tour, so make sure to watch that. Just to shamelessly plug once again. But yeah, seriously, we're always busy. We're always busy, and there's always something to do. I hope that answered the question.
Thank you, Meg, and thank you, David, Meg, and Jen, for being part of our panel. If your question did not get answered, then I know that there's several one-on-one sessions that are scheduled with counselors later today. Be sure and ask those questions then. Then also, we want to put up a contact information screen graphic here for you now. it covers multiple areas on campus, and you can get familiar with this. We'll show this again after the video as well. We'll keep it up on the screen for a minute because we know there's a lot of names on here after the presentation is over, but this info will also be sent out to you, and many of you, again, will be connecting with our counselors with some one-on-one meetings later today as well. And so keep those questions. We will get those questions answered for you, and again, we'll show this screen again after the video we're about to show you. But as we close out today, remember that we do have that campus tour, video campus tour from Meg. That's not a shameless plug. It's great. I love it. It just flies by, and I work here every day. So I was like, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that about the building I work in. So anyway, it's a fantastic tour for Meg. It is on our YouTube channel. We'll have a graphic that comes up after that contact person graphic again that will have the YouTube link on it. If you don't want to just scribble that thing down, just go to our webpage, collegeofidaho.edu. You can link to our YouTube channel through there. Or if you're on YouTube, the name of our YouTube channel is Go Yotes, and the tour is on there. Go Yotes is the name of our YouTube channel, and the tour is there. Please take a look at that. It's a fantastic tour. One thing that we've been trying to do to maintain the community aspect here on campus while we've been all isolated and can't see each other face to face was asking students and faculty and staff, and some alumni have taken part in this as well, but to just record some videos and send them to us that we've called a coyote a day. And we've been running them since the end of last month, every day, sometimes more than one a day. Just to connect with people, tell people what you're doing, what you're up to, share a talent, something like that, because we are so much about this Yote fam community that this has been hopefully just a real pick-me-up. So we picked out one of these that we wanted to show you, share with you. It's from senior Talon Pinckney. Now Talon is a two-time first-team All-American on the basketball court. He's also two-time All-Academic. He's also done an internship already, wants to be an architect, and he tells us about how special this Yote fam community is to him, and just those, not only a mentor and two friends, it sounds like he's probably got about 20 mentors and dozens and dozens and dozens of friends. A reminder, we've extended that deposit deadline to June 1st. Please, if you want to take care of that, you can do it through our website, and we just so much appreciate you taking the time to learn more about the College of Idaho. It is a fantastic place, and we really hope that we're going to be seeing you soon. For David and for Meg and for Jen, I'm Joe. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoy the video of Talon. Take the tour and go Yotes.
Go Yotes.
I'm forever grateful of this place. I mean, never did I think that I would go 25 minutes away from home and feel so far away. And that's a good thing for sure. It allowed me to grow on my own, and I'm grateful for that. But I just want to thank everybody that was along the journey. I mean, I've had 2 great head coaches and 9 great assistant coaches throughout my 4 years, and then all the teachers that I encountered. I can remember everyone helping me in some sort of way throughout my years, and then community is a huge thing here, and I've felt that love since I've been here. And like I mentioned earlier, I feel like I have 20 extra moms and dads, and that's super cool. They've watched me grow up. People talk about going from being 14 to 18, now you're an adult, but I feel like those next 4 years or 5 years, however long you're at college, is really when you start to mature. And it took me a while, but I'm super grateful that people were patient with me and just gave me every opportunity to do right by them. And like I said, I can't thank anybody enough, and it's been a great 4 years. For my seniors, congrats, keep going, we got a couple more weeks. But anybody that's coming in or is still at the College of Idaho, don't be afraid to meet new people, because that's gonna allow you to have help if you're struggling academically or even socially. Just reach out, be active with the community, and then for my teammates, I tell you guys all the time, just put in work no matter what it is, in the classroom, on the court, have a work ethic, and anything's possible, so good luck. Just looking at the positive aspect of things is really what the college has allowed me to do, and like I said, I'm grateful for everything that I've learned in these 4 years here.